We are living in the age of epistemological decay, a time when truth is not merely contested, but pulverized into fine particulate matter of Candace Owens.
You should investigate all of the Doge BS and organize it so DGGs can fight back easily. Right now, like 90% of the lies fall through the cracks. Here, but this is the issue, is that these people's thought patterns are fundamentally broken. So for instance, this is how, if you divorce something from politics, humans, I think actually, when we lose trust, I think we lose it incredibly easily. So like, if you have somebody that tells you 10 true statements and then they tell you a lie, I think it takes a long time. I think it's like 50 more true statements for you to trust them again, depending on what the lie was. Like humans, when trust is broken, it's very, very difficult to earn it back for humans. So if somebody tells you 100 statements and 10 of them are false, it's like, and you can see this if we go to the political world now. You can see this expressed for conservatives who will lose their shot, like Fauci. Oh, he lied about the masks. And it's like, okay, he made like 10,000 statements. Why do we hang on these like one or two statements that were wrong that he made? And even if we grant that these were lies, you know? However, one of the big issues that you run into is when it comes to countering these Elon Musk claims, what the f***'s the point? Like if somebody, this is why I got tired of doing disinformation. If you give me 10 false claims and I debunk every single one, and then you give me like an 11th one, like why the f*** are you even trusting this source anymore? I actually lost a couple friends on Discord who would fight with me over Candace Owens. They were like, why don't you won't even counter, or I think I already talked about this, you won't even counter this. It's like, this is retarded. Like, no, I'm not going to debunk every claim that this person made. Like, why do you need more? Why do you still trust this person? Like, shouldn't you be getting your information at a different, like if you're trying to debunk every single thing, your default assumption is you trust or believe them. So no, when they're firing out like 5 or 10 new claims a day, I don't know what the point of debunking them all is, because if they were rationally thinking about these things, then after you debunk like 3 of them, they should be like, oh, okay, this probably isn't trustworthy. Let's get our information from somewhere else. But it was like, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? It's like, okay, this is a waste of time. You're going to believe everything. Like the second I stop debunking, you're going to start believing everything that comes out. Like, yeah, I don't know. How do you measure software developer productivity in your opinion? The total latency of the whole stack. When the latency goes down, the pay goes up, and that's the best thing you can ever do ever. I have no idea.
Continents. I'm curious what your thought is on how USAID.
Candace, how did you lose this friend exactly over the Candace stuff? Did you go nuclear on them, or did they stop talking to you? I think I went through this on stream. I think I was reading through some of our conversations. But basically, they were watching Candace, and some guy came on who wanted to talk about the missing Malaysian flight. And as I was clicking through and listening, this guy was talking about like the ether, which is like a pseudoscience-y, like almost a flat Earth, like we live in the filament type thing. Like ether is not real. I feel stupid even saying this, but I was basically just like, I'm not going to waste my time going through this. I'm like, oh, and then they try to hit me with these like logical fallacies, like, oh, so just because somebody says one thing wrong, you can dismiss everything. Isn't that what you get mad that the Democrats do to Fauci, or that the Republicans do to Fauci? Or, oh, so just because this person is a conspiracy theorist, you're going to dismiss them? Shouldn't you be able to debunk them easily? And it's like, yeah, but I'm not going to waste my time on this like 3-hour video for this guy that I know is insane. Oh, firmament, not filament, my bad. But yeah, and then eventually they just kept bringing me more and more Candace Owens stuff, and I'm like, bro, I don't care about this. Like, I don't have the time to debunk every crazy. And the thing is that like it'll take me 10 hours to debunk this stupid talking point, and then it doesn't even register with that person, because the next day, like, well, what about this one? It's like, why do you still trust this person? Like, what?
To have a hearing tomorrow on USAID in the Foreign Affairs Committee, and a lot of these issues will be discussed. When you look at a program like PEPFAR, I have been very strong in my support for it. 60% of PEPFAR's program.
The screen flickers to life, and there's Destiny, framed in the soft glow of his RGB-lit setup, a lone figure in the digital wilderness. He's not here to dunk on a rival or dissect a policy brief with surgical precision. No, today he's grappling with something messier, more human. The loss of friends to the gravitational pull of Candace Owens' orbit. It's a quiet moment, but it carries the weight of a third-act revelation, the kind where the hero realizes the battle he's been fighting isn't against external foes, but against the very nature of belief itself. Owens, with her razor-sharp delivery and her knack for dressing up nonsense in a tailored suit, isn't just a pundit in this narrative. She's a narrative force. A villain who doesn't need to twirl a mustache because her charisma does the work. And Destiny, for all his spreadsheet-wielding bravado, is left picking up the pieces of friendships that couldn't withstand her spell. Let's set the scene. Destiny's world is one of relentless argumentation, a gladiatorial arena where ideas are tested, debunked, and occasionally sent limping back to the locker room. He's built a career on clarity, on dismantling bad takes with the patience of a bomb diffuser. But now he's facing a foe that doesn't play by his rules. The seductive, slippery rhetoric of Owens, whose claims proliferate like kudzu, choking out reason before you can grab the pruning shears. His frustration isn't just intellectual, it's personal. Friends, once comrades in the Discord trenches, have fallen under Owen's sway, clinging to her every word like it's gospel etched in gold. And when Destiny tries to pull them back, to point out the cracks in her facade, they don't just resist, they double down, demanding he debunk every wild claim, every half-baked theory, as if reason were a game of whack-a-mole. This is where the liberal heart of the story beats loudest, thrumming with a mix of idealism and despair. Liberalism, at its core, is a belief in the power of dialogue, in the idea that truth can emerge from the crucible of debate. It's why Destiny keeps streaming, keeps arguing, keeps trying to build bridges even as they're set ablaze. But Owen's influence is a stress test for that faith, a reminder that not everyone wants to cross the bridge. His friends aren't just wrong, they're invested in being wrong, tethered to Owen's narrative like sailors lashed to the mast during a storm. And as a liberal observer watching from the cheap seats, there's a pang of recognition here. We've all seen it. The uncle at Thanksgiving who's suddenly quoting Infowars, the coworker who's gone deep down a YouTube rabbit hole. It's not just misinformation, it's a betrayal of the social contract, a refusal to meet halfway. Destiny's lament is rooted in a simple, almost primal truth about human nature. Trust is fragile, like a glass ornament dangling from a Christmas tree. One lie, one misstep, and it shatters, leaving you scrambling to glue the pieces back together. He muses on this with the weary wisdom of someone who's seen too many debates end in stalemate. When someone you trust feeds you a falsehood, it's not just a data point, it's a wound. And Owens, with her relentless churn of dubious claims, is a one-woman trust-destroying machine. Destiny's friends aren't just swallowing her takes on everything from public health to missing planes. They're buying into her entire persona, her polished defiance of the mainstream. It's not enough for Destiny to point out one lie or 3 or 10, because the allure of Owens isn't in the details. It's in the vibe, the swagger, the promise of being in on a secret the rest of the world's too sheepish to see. This dynamic plays out like a tragic farce, a Coen brothers movie where the stakes are low but the emotions run high. Destiny recounts a friend who kept pushing Owens' content, including a particularly unhinged guest ranting about the ether. A pseudoscientific notion so absurd it feels like it wandered in from a steampunk fever dream. Destiny's reaction is pure exasperation, the kind you'd see from a character in a screwball comedy who's just realized their partner has been conned by a snake oil salesman. He's not going to waste hours dissecting a 3-hour video from a guy who thinks the Earth's a cosmic snow globe. But his friend, they're all in, demanding Destiny engage, accusing him of dodging the challenge. It's a standoff, and it's not really about the ether or Owens or even the missing Malaysian flight. It's about what happens when two people stop speaking the same language. As a liberal, this is where the story cuts deep, like a paper cut you don't notice until it stings. The liberal impulse is to believe in redemption, to think that if you just find the right words, the right facts, you can pull someone back from the edge. But Destiny's learning the hard way that facts alone don't win hearts. His friends aren't just misinformed, they're enchanted, caught in Owen's narrative web, where every debunked claim is just another plot twist in a grand conspiracy. It's a kind of faith, and faith doesn't bend to spreadsheets. Destiny's not wrong to call it irrational, but there's a bitter irony here. His own faith in reason is being tested, and it's coming up short. The liberal dream of a world where truth prevails feels like a sepia-toned memory, faded by the neon glare of Owen's influence. The comedy of this tragedy lies in its absurdity, in the sheer relentlessness of the task Destiny's friends are demanding. They want him to debunk every claim, every day, like he's Sisyphus with a keyboard, rolling the boulder of reason up a hill, only for Owens to drop another viral clip. It's laughable, but it's also exhausting, and you can hear it in Destiny's voice, the way it dips into resignation. He's not just fighting misinformation, he's fighting the human tendency to cling to a story that feels good, that makes you feel special. Owens is a master storyteller, spinning tales of elite corruption and hidden truths, and her audience isn't just watching, they're co-stars, invested in the plot. Destiny's friends don't want to be debunked. They want to stay in the movie, where they're the heroes and the world's a puzzle only they can solve. This is where the metaphor of the multiplex comes into sharp focus. Online discourse isn't a single screen, it's 100 theaters, each playing a different film, each with its own rabid fanbase. Destiny's trying to run a documentary, all facts and figures, but his friends have bought tickets to Owen's blockbuster, a high-octane thriller where nothing is as it seems. And as a liberal, there's a temptation to cheer for Destiny, to see him as the plucky underdog fighting for truth. But the truth is messier. Destiny's not immune to the allure of his own narrative. He's got his own fans, his own script, his own brand of righteous certainty. The difference is he's still willing to step into the ring to let his ideas be tested. His friends, seduced by Owens, have walked out of the arena altogether, choosing the comfort of her fiction over the bruising reality of debate. The loss of these friendships isn't just a personal blow, it's a microcosm of a larger cultural fracture. We're living in an era where trust is a scarce resource, mined to depletion by pundits like Owens who thrive on division. Destiny's story is a case study in how that depletion happens, one discord argument at a time. His friends didn't just drift away, they were pulled, lured by a voice that promised clarity in a chaotic world. And as a liberal, there's no escaping the melancholy of that realization. Liberalism thrives on the idea that we can disagree and still find common ground, but what happens when the ground itself is rigged with landmines? What happens when the people you care about choose the landmines over the map? Yet even in this bleak narrative, there's a flicker of hope, a stubborn refusal to fade to black. Destiny's still streaming, still arguing, still trying to make sense of a world that's increasingly nonsensical. He's not giving up on reason, even if it feels like shouting into a void. And as a liberal observer, that tenacity is a reminder of why the fight matters. It's not about winning every debate or saving every friendship. It's about keeping the conversation alive, even when the audience is heckling. Owens may have taken his friends, but she hasn't taken his resolve. And in the multiplex of ideas, where the screens are endless and the popcorn's overpriced, that's a story worth rooting for. So here's to Destiny, the beleaguered director of his own small corner of the internet, still rolling film even as the theater empties. Here's to the friends lost to Owen's blockbuster, a cautionary tale of trust betrayed. And here's to the liberal ideal, battered but unbowed, still flickering in the dark, waiting for someone to notice.